Hello and welcome. Oh, I love a phonetic spelling, but I can't see it all. Let me try. Let's see, maybe if I make my screen bigger. Nope. Oh, yes, there it is. Okay, well, I'm going to start with the easy one. Hi, Charlotte. Let me just practice one before I
Hello.
dive in. Hi, nice to meet you virtually. And Chevalier, Chevalier.
Yes, ma'am.
Close.
It's Chevalier.
Chevalier. Okay, thank you. It helps also seeing you say it. Nice to meet you and welcome to you as well.
Thank you.
We do have quite a few people who signed up, and I'm hoping they all can make it. Welcome, Cash. I do like to just give grace and not get started exactly at 8 o'clock or when it starts at 8 o'clock. So I'm going to wait for people to trickle in for a few minutes. Feel free to stay on mute until we actually start talking. And you are welcome to keep your camera on, turn it off, whatever you do feel comfortable with. But I love seeing friendly faces. So thank you for getting on to show me yours initially. And welcome to
And
you.
Lisa,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I apologize. I just want to let you know one person who's going to be joining Candace. She is in the other room, so I'm just going to relay the info to her.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you for that. Yes. And I see her on here. So, or yes, thank you. And welcome to you, Cash. I was just practicing everybody's names. Yours looks very easy to pronounce, but if I got that wrong, correct me. I was just telling Charlotte and Chevalier. I'm going to practice that a couple times, more times. That I just like to give people grace. It's sometimes hard to get to a meeting on time, even when I have it scheduled myself. So I'll start promptly a little after 8:05 just to give folks the opportunity to trickle in. Okay, it's 8:05 and I'm too excited. So I'm just going to get started. And if people start to join us, I will try to um, welcome them in or just maybe reshare some things towards the end if they miss things they want to know. But without further ado, I will start just by briefly introducing myself and letting you guys know the lay of the land this evening. My name is Lisa. I am your host tonight, and I will be leading this trip information session for Lesbifriends Travel. This is going to be an interactive session, so I hope I'm not just talking at you the entire time. Just as you would like to learn about some of the trips that we have coming up, I want to learn about you as individuals, but also things that you want to do when you travel, places you've been or want to go, because I'm also curating trips for the 2026 year. So by learning a little bit more about your interests, that also helps me be able to make the trips happen that you actually want to go to. But I hope some of the trips that I'm presenting tonight might be ones that you're interested in as well. Again, this is interactive. I do love an icebreaker, so we're going to start with one, and then throughout the session, we're going to do a couple more rounds of them. For those who do not want to um, say their answers verbally, you are welcome to put them in the chat. I'm going to share the prompts in the chat so you can have a little heads up about what they are and get prepared. But I do like to lead by example, so I'm going to read the prompts for the first icebreaker introduction, and then I will start by answering the questions initially so you can get an idea of what you might want to share. So this is since we are just getting to know one another, we will start with our first set of very light icebreakers. So your name and where you're calling from, or where you call home, what's your travel alter ego, and then a trip that you've taken that may have shifted your perspective or changed you in some way. So I will say that, well, my name is Lisa. Hello again. I call Washington, D.C. home. I've lived here for almost 20 years, and it's not quite as long as I lived in Massachusetts, which is my birth and my home place. But DC just feels most like home. So I'll stick with that for my answer. My travel alter ego. I mean, I listed it. I'm probably at some point all of these, but I'm gonna be the connector. That's literally what I do with my friend group. That's how Lesbifriends came about. And I really truly enjoy creating the spaces so people can connect in them. It's funny, I literally just got back from hosting a trip yesterday. We were on the first cruise that I've ever hosted a trip for. And the night before we left, I'm that person. I'm like in bed 9, 10 o'clock, but I'm trying to hang with the group. It's the last night. It's like 12, 1 a.m. And so I'm there with like 5 or 6 other people, and everybody's talking, go, go, go. And all of a sudden they look at me and they're like, yeah, you haven't said anything in like 20, 30 minutes. And I'm like, yeah, I'm enjoying you guys talking, connecting. Like I really enjoy being that person, that creep in the background that just likes to listen, and just takes everything in from everybody else. So that's me. I'm the connector. And then a trip I've taken that has shifted my perspective or changed me in some way. I will say there's been so many. But as a young traveler, when I was 20, I had the privilege of studying abroad, and most traditional study in undergrad. In most traditional study abroad programs, you go to one country, you're there for the entire semester. Well, I saw this episode or this season of the Road Rules on MTV. This probably is dating me, so you could probably guess my age, but I saw it over 20 years ago, and I was like, I want to go on semester at sea because that seems so cool to just be able to travel the world on a ship and get credit for it. They were doing other things on the ship too, like they were competing and doing challenges. We didn't get to do all that. But I did get to go to 9 countries in 100 days, study on a ship, meet some amazing people, and have some really humbling experiences as a 20-year-old. So that's my travel experience that has changed me. And that's probably why I'm in love with travel till this day. Okay. I'm glad someone else remembers Road Rules as well. All right. So we kind of do the volunteer method. Um, but if we don't have volunteers, then I will volunteer you to go. So feel free to unmute yourself. You do not have to raise your hand in this chat. We're super casual. Whenever you're ready, feel free to unmute yourself and share your answers.
I'll go. Hi,
Thank you.
I'm Charlotte, and I live in the Philadelphia area, about 30 minutes from Center City, Philly. I was born and raised here, but I've lived in the DMV, in Fairfax, and Arlington. I've also lived in Albuquerque, in Santa Fe, just all for work, and then landed back in DC, and then 2019 moved back home to Philly. Um, What's my travel alter ego? I think I'm somewhere between a foodie and a lounger and possibly explorer, depending on the vacation and the trip. I'm kind of a go as the flow type of person. So, um, a trip that you've taken that shifted. I met a college friend in the Bay Area a long time ago, and I hadn't come out yet. But he was out. He was a gay man, really, really good college friend. And we took a trip to Yosemite National Park and did some hiking. And then that trip really changed me. Just being in the outdoors and it was an amazing trip to share with a really, really close friend. After the trip, I came out and then he met his partner. So it was kind of life changing for both of us. So thank you.
Thank you. That is such a great story. And I love that you're a mix of all the travel alter egos. Also, if your alter ego is not listed, you are welcome to just make something up or share it if it's not one of the examples. But I'm glad I hit some of them that you encompass, Charlotte.
Thank you. Yes.
Oh, we'll go next. Charlotte, I love that story, honey. I love that story. Good evening, everyone. My name is Chevalier. I call home is Louisiana. Current home is Phoenix, Arizona. I've been living here with my wife and two dogs for a decade now. And my travel alter ego is, I would say, I'm definitely the lounger. Okay, she lounging. And lounger meets adventurer. That's what I'm gonna say. Lounger meets adventurer. I like to jump, climb, swim with my life jacket because I can't swim, but I like the water. Don't judge me. And just try new things. And I definitely like to do it with other women who love women. And I'm excited about this opportunity to join y'all on some travels. And a trip that I've taken that shifted my perspective was when I was in undergrad and I got the opportunity to go to South Africa and we were doing research. My research topic was why African Americans choose to go to South Africa and why Black South Africans choose to come to the US. And it was a very eye opening and transformative experience for me at that time. That was also the first time I traveled out of the country and to go to the motherland. It was great. It was great. And Lisa, I do want to make sure you know I remember road rules, honey. And a fun fact, I had a cousin, a play cousin at the time. He knew Ayana from semester at sea. He went to Howard. She went to Howard. He was older than me, and I was like starstruck. I had never met her, but just because I knew him and he had a class with her, I was like, oh my god. So I want to make sure I threw that in there. I remember road rules.
That is too cool. I love that. Oh, thank you for all of the great answers. Awesome. Oh, Cash, you have to bring the group to an end. I hope you have some good answers lined up. You're muted if you are trying to talk. I'm hoping that you can chat. If not, if you are able to, I know some people log in from their phone and it's hard to find the chat function, but if you're able to, you are welcome to also put your answers in the chat. Okay, I'm not gonna pressure you. Feel free to share when you can if you would like to. Okay, great answers. I have a few more questions, but I'll wait till we get into some of these trips before I do the next set. I do ask ahead of time what trips people are most interested in learning about. Just in case we are short on time, I really only want to share the ones that people are actually interested in. Cash, I know you said Cash and a few other people who haven't joined yet, and maybe they will, they were interested in our Cabo trip. So our Cabo San Lucas trip is next week, which is July 3rd through the 7th. Not to say that you can't get a plane ticket and jump on a flight in a week, but I'm gonna guess that maybe you're interested in Cabo in general and not maybe this trip. If you are, tell me otherwise, and I am happy to present that trip if you would potentially be able to go on it. But if not, I'll just I'll head to the next trip, which is actually available, which that folks are interested in, which is the summer glam. And no worries, Cash. Cash is messaging in the group chat for those who can't see. I'll just share their answers that Cash took their first international trip as an adult in 2013 and was hooked. And I'm glad that you've been traveling as much as possible as then. It's always hard to get away. We don't get, I'm assuming you're in the US, and we don't get enough vacation days. I completely understand. As much as we can. And we'll skip Cabo and we'll head to the summer glamp. There are 3 other trips after that, which I believe I can present all of them. I will try to be as I'm a little long-winded, but I will try to be as concise as possible, just to get all the information out and allow for questions throughout the session. Okay, so I'm going to, if you see me looking to my right or whatever way it shows on your screen, it's just because I have 2 screens. So forgive me if I'm not giving the screen eye contact. I am going to share my screen with you now. So hopefully you can see a screen that says the summer glamp. And I will begin to present that. Okay, if by some chance, thank you, I appreciate the thumbs up. That helps. If by some chance I'm talking and what is on the screen is not what is coming out of my mouth, just ping me, or use one of those great emojis. So I know, just to refresh my screen, sometimes there is a lag using my presentation software. Okay, so this is the first presentation is the summer glamp, but before we even get into that, which is our next trip that's available. But before we even get into that, I'd just like to share a little bit about my background personally and the company, so people know a little bit more about who you would be potentially trusting the planning of your next travel experience with. As you know, my name is Lisa. I've traveled quite a bit. I went on my first international trip in I think it was my sophomore year of undergrad. I went to Montreal Canada on like a $99 bus trip. I don't even know how it was that cheap because it included transportation, lodging, some clubs, and even some meals. But I did that. I don't know that I was hooked off of that trip, but definitely after a few other trips, international travel in particular, has become my love. I've been to, unfortunately, I've been to more countries than states. I'm only at like 20 something states, closer to 30. But I too, like Charlotte, want to go on to all of the national parks, and get some domestic travel experience. But fortunately, and unfortunately, I've done most of my travel out of the country. I've been a few places. I have a pretty good understanding of traveling on a budget, traveling. I can't say I've ever been a luxury travel person. I think my friend convinced me to stay in my first five-star hotel like 2, 3 years ago. And even then I was like, why are we spending this much money for a room that we shouldn't be spending more than 12 hours in and just to sleep and shower. But anyway, I do love planning travel for friends, just in general. And I'm a pretty good planner and organizer in life, which is probably why this suits me, having a travel company as a passion project. In my daytime, I'm an attorney. I work for the Federal Election Commission. Don't tell them that sometimes I do Lesbifriends travel stuff on their clock because they don't give me enough work to do, but also don't tell them that either. Um, Lesbifriends travel kind of just came out of me wanting connection and community out of law school back in 2009, 2010. I didn't quite know how to ease back into society, the socializing society, and I wasn't a club person, so I invited some people over who invited some people over my one bedroom co-op apartment. And of course we had like a game night with like $5 Chuck bottles of wine, and that just grew into like a bi-monthly event, which grew into an annual trip, a domestic trip, like a winter trip to like a cabin, or a summer trip to the beach, a few hours away. And then finally in 2022, I was, after enough people kept asking me why haven't I planned an international trip for the group, after having done about 10 domestic annual trips, I decided to take Lesbifriends internationally. So since then, we've had a dozen international trips, and we are slated to hopefully grow even more. In the last, that's been what, 2 years that we've had a dozen. And we should finish this year with a solid 18. Um, okay, so that's a little bit of background about who you'd be entrusting your hard-earned travel funds to in the planning process. I like to just share my vision behind Lesbifriends Travel, and really, I just like to give what I would want, expect if I was paying paying a company to travel with them. These are like the basics that I would want. So I just want to share just an overview of some of the things you'll get if you do decide to travel with Lesbifriends. So first, I do make sure that myself and my team, I have an assistant, thank goodness, that the travel itineraries that we put together are all LGBTQ plus centered. That could mean that we are going to a queer friendly space, or it could mean that what we are doing there, embodies like our authentic truth. Like maybe we're traveling to a place where being queer is more taboo or maybe not even legal. But we still want to go there. Well, I'm going to make sure that we are doing things that are safe. We don't have to mute or hide who we are. So the places that we stay, they're going to know that we're queer, but we're also going to be like mindful of, the laws and the social norms, and respect the culture while we're there. So, for example, when South Africa, as people know, is very accepting and of people who are queer, gay marriage is legalized there. So we could be out and proud as we have been. Last year, I took 20 people to South Africa. Some people, it was their first time leaving the continent. Some people, it was their first time on the continent. So it was really a great experience, but I was excited to bring our group to such a queer friendly space where we were so openly accepted and embraced and appreciated and celebrated. While gay marriage is not legalized legal in Indonesia, we have been there twice. We've been to Bali twice, last year and this year. And we have worked with that, like local guides, to do things that our group really wanted to do, that were accepted. They knew that we were queer. They did not like, they welcomed and embraced us, and they also taught us about their customs and norms, so we would feel comfortable in their space. So that's what I mean by LGBTQ centered itineraries. Also, if I have an itinerary that's created and someone wants to do something extra, I always try to make that happen for them on the trip. For example, our Egypt and Jordan trip that's coming up in September. Someone booked the trip and they want to do a baptism in Jordan. So I've researched that for them, and I made that kind of like a private add-on for them for the trip, so they could still experience things that they wanted to. But there's also just some free time built in. So if people just want to do their own thing or just go with the flow, they can do that too. So that's one of the, I guess, the pillars, if you will, of Lesbifriends travel. For solo travelers who might want to travel with a group, but maybe want to have a roommate during their stay, but because they're a solo traveler, they don't have one picked out. We do like-minded roommate matching. We're going to pair you with someone who is, after doing, I'm not going to say it's like a million questions, but it's a good amount of questions. So we can learn your personality and the things that you like, and potential roommates would like and don't like, so that we can match you with a person before the trip. So, and in addition to the matching, we're going to make that introduction virtually via email. We also have a group chat, so you'll get acquainted with other travelers on the trip ahead of time. And just like we're having this trip information session, we also do a kickoff for that individual trip. So you'll get to meet potentially your roommate, but also other travelers who are coming to that trip. Number 3 would be our curated packing list. I love a list. I literally made 3 lists today when I was working. I write them, I type them. When I was what is it called? Co-working with my assistant today. But I do take time to create packing lists for each of the destinations that we're going to, just because you might not have the time to research everything you should bring. Like when we went to Spain last year, we had to be covered before going into certain churches. So I made sure people knew, like, even if because of the weather, you might not want to pack long sleeves, at least pack a scarf so you have the ability to cover your arms and your shoulders. In Thailand last year, I put on the packing list for people to bring an umbrella, not because it was going to rain, but because the sun is pretty harsh there. Some people listened to me, but most people didn't, and they ended up having to buy an umbrella on site. But I do go through the packing list during the trip kickoff session, so people know why I'm suggesting to bring what I am. Then the number 4 would be our exclusive event finding and planning. Again, that could be based on the trip that we're going to, like an add-on or an additional excursion. But sometimes people just want to know like where the queer nightlife is, and I also do the research and include that. Or people just want to know like the best places to eat. I'll also facilitate that within the pre-trip planning and share that information. In addition to that, in addition to the group chat and the kickoff session for each trip, so we can meet virtually. I also do events for those people who are local in the DMV, which I know Charlotte mentioned that they are. Of course, you guys are always welcome to take the trip. Unfortunately, I've not had because I live in DC, I typically tend to host here, but that could change. But I do host, right now it's like an event a month. And those events are open to the community as a whole. So not just travelers, but there are special traveler only events that I do invite by invitation only. For example, earlier this year, we had an appreciation luncheon with a world travel theme, go figure. And then in November, we're going to have a Lesbifriends giving. And this is a way for people who have been on trips in the last year to come back and kind of have like a mini reunion with people who they've traveled with, but also for people who have signed up for trips who haven't been on a trip yet to just get maybe a face-to-face interaction with someone coming on the trip, on their trip, upcoming trip. Number 5 are our pre-trip community group chats, which I've kind of already mentioned. And that number 6 would be that tailored travel guide. In addition to the packing list, which might be like 2 pages long, I do also do a travel guide, which I share about a month before the trip. So you can just be aware, are there any visas? What do you need to know about the currency exchange? I definitely like to talk currency ahead of time and give people those tips and tricks just for travel in general. What else do I put in there? Restaurant information about things that are walkable activities locally that you can do outside of what's on the itinerary. When we went to South Africa last year, there were 2 people who really liked to work out, like they needed to work out every day. So I researched the areas that we stayed in Johannesburg and Cape Town and found them some local gyms that they could work out at as well. So if you want it, I will research it. I enjoy doing stuff like that. Okay, now we can get into, oh, wait, nope, I got everything. Okay, so now that you have the overview of what you're going to get on a trip just in general, and a little bit of background about the company, now we can talk about the first trip that you could potentially go on to experience a Lesbifriends travel experience. So we are headed to River Mountain, Pennsylvania, which probably nobody has heard of. Like even before I went there, I hadn't heard of it. But it's an amazing place, and I need for everybody to experience this. So we're going there July 24th through the 27th. I'd say if you're kind of like on the fence about group travel and just like traveling with a new set of people, a new travel group, this or another domestic trip would be a great introductory trip for you because it's only 3 nights, so you're not committing to 10 whole days in another country. It's for some of us it's drivable, and it's also at a lower cost, and it's all inclusive. So all of your meals and all of your activities are included. And it's a really great group of people so far. There's still a little bit of room left. And this trip will have a little over 50 people. We have about, I think, 8 or 9 spots left as of today. So this would be a great like introductory trip for you to kind of see if you want to do a bigger trip with Lesbifriends Travel. So it's a glamping trip. I'm not that person who's going camping, guys. Like I've tried it and I packed up the same day I got there. It was too cold for me. I need electricity, I need heat, I need air. So you're gonna get that because I can't deal without it. But if you want to camp, you could pitch a tent right next to us, but you will get the like a whole bed, a bathroom. It's a nice space on this trip, just as a given. Okay, so the accommodations. This really sold me on the trip. So last year, at the beginning of the year, I think something was canceled last minute for me, and I was like, I finally have a weekend. I kind of just want to woosah, do nothing, relax. And then this email popped up in my inbox, or maybe it was something on Instagram, someone I follow. It was probably Instagram. And there was like this yoga instructor named Felicia, who is a queer Black woman, was hosting a yoga retreat, just 2.5 hours away in DC, 2.5 hours away from DC. I was like, it's drivable. I need some Zen. I need some meditation. I kind of just need to get out of my house so I'm not doing work, which I usually do on the weekends. So I signed up. I signed up because I was meant to host a trip there. I don't know that, I mean, the yoga retreat was fine. I got a lot of sleep. I didn't do that much yoga, but I got a lot of sleep. Um, I'm not like a meditation person. So, but I was supposed to be in this space because it's a great space. River Mountain Resort, the people who own it now, they like bought it and renovated it right before the pandemic. The pandemic hit and then they didn't get any business, but luckily they kept it and they are adding to it now because it has grown. So what you're seeing in this video right here, this loopy video, are the glamping cabin pods. So there's two options for accommodations. There's the pods, there's the cabins, which have these pods in them. There are going to be 8 to 10 people in each cabin. There are a few bathrooms to share in each cabin, but the cool thing about the pods is you have your individual space. And even though there's an upper one and a bottom one, it's not like a bunk bed where if you're in the top bunk and you move, the person on the bottom can feel it. No, you have like a ceiling and then the ceiling is where that person's floor is, but so it's not all attached. But there are walls, you can close a curtain, so you have privacy. There are different themes for the cabins, which are kind of cool. We have a singles cabin, we have a turn up cabin, we have a bliss and bloom cabin. And what is the other one? I think it's adventure, but I've changed some of the names, so don't quote me. But those are the themes. So you're going to be matched with like-minded people who pick the cabin you are. But you're not going to be living in the cabin the whole entire time because there's going to be too much fun going on outside. So I'll share the outside with you. But real quick, besides the cabins, the pods that are located in the cabin, there's also the option of a yurt. So a yurt's like a big tent. Each yurt has 2 queen beds in it. There is electricity, there's a mini fridge. Each yurt comes with its own bathroom. So there are yurts that you can have to yourself if you want to pay a little bit more. If you want to share then with one other person, then just you and that one person share a bathroom, which isn't a bad deal on a glamping trip. Okay, let's get into what you're going to be doing on this trip because so you understand you are not going to even care where you're sleeping because you're just going to have so much fun with the activities. So we have a great schedule lined up. I've like recruited and handpicked people personally to lead workshops. And these aren't just like learning workshops. Yes, we have like a cool outdoor skills workshop from someone who actually has taught a firearm safety class for the group and is teaching another one and is committed to just doing this only for Black queer women. So a great person to learn from, like someone who's ex-military and just very intentional and mindful about educating community. But outside of that, which will be fun in itself, we have some fun nature walks to learn about the area. We also have some, for those who want to get up and do all the morning Zen yoga stuff, feel free. I will probably not be doing that with you, but there's something for everybody there. So there is that. We have some like fun stretching classes for those who don't quite want to do yoga. We might do some playful Simon Says led movement activities. There's also some fun flirty workshops as well. There's going to be like something like a flirt school. Whether you're single or not, you could still, benefit from going to that. What else? Yeah, plenty of workshops, but also just fun like community outdoor activities. Like we're going to do a field day. We're also going to have a glow in the dark dance party as well. We're going to do some arts and crafts. For people who don't want to just be surrounded by people all day long, we're going to do like some self-guided things like there's going to be like a quiet corner where you can go color or do vision boarding on your own, and just like have your own space and time. All the meals are included. The food there is excellent. It's farm to table. There are social happy hours included every night, which include sangria, beer, or mocktails. And we'll have some like fun outdoor get to know you storytelling. I'm sure these conversations will happen organically, but we'll also organize them as a group. Bring your bug spray, because we'll be making s'mores. So you can read the itinerary, but I'm basically going through all the things that are offered. And I do include the itinerary, like a general overview on the website, so you do know what's included. But there's a lot more that I just can't put on the website, or that came about after, the website was created. So it's going to be a great time. Lots jam-packed into these 3 nights and 4 days. I'm in this video somewhere over here. Probably not the person who's winning. Probably the person way over. Yep, that's me. I'm not winning this. But anyway, this is the type of things we do on trips. All right, this is just an overview of what's included, but because I've already went over that, I mostly want to direct your attention to the right side of the screen, what's not included. So transportation, you do have to get yourself to and from the resort. Luckily, I am a good organizer, and so if you are coming from out of town, I've already started a carpool connection, what is it called? Survey. And one of our chat groups dedicated to this trip is just going to be for carpool connections. So there are people who've already filled this out who are willing to give a ride, or who want to ride with someone. And so those connections are facilitated. So even if you fly in and you don't want to rent a car, someone might potentially be willing to pick you up at the airport. It's a really great group of people who are coming so far. Again, travel insurance is not included. It is mandatory. I'm nobody's mother except my godmother. I'm not gonna check. We're just gonna do the honor system, but it really does behoove you to get travel insurance. I've had things come up last minute for people, and it sucks when they book a non-refundable trip, because I can't give your money back if I already paid the resort for you to come and stay. So I do tell everybody to get travel insurance, and I'll even give you a free quote when you sign up if you select that. Just with my preferred travel insurance company, you don't have to pick them, but they're good. I've used them before, and they've, like, even before starting like the travel part of Lesbifriends travel, and they've come through for me. When I had COVID, they gave me all my money back because I couldn't make it to the Roots picnic in Philly. Didn't even ask no questions. I don't even know if I had to give them a COVID test. Anyway, get travel insurance. Meals not mentioned, but all the meals are included. But if you want to bring your own snacks, feel free. If you want to cook on the grill, feel free. But again, they cook for you. So put your feet up and just enjoy being a guest. This is just standard, just the stuff. If you want to buy something they sell honey there. If you want to buy that, it's on you. So the cost of the trip, it actually starts at $750, and that is for a yurt. So if you choose to stay in a yurt with 3 other people, you would pay $750 each. If you choose to have a yurt to yourself, you'd pay $2,100. The prices are on the website. There's actually only 1 yurt left as of now. There's only 1 yurt left. And then for the pods, that starts at $850. Actually, it's only $850 because there were queen beds and they're sold out. So the twin beds are left. So if you want a twin pod, which is the same size as a queen pod, it's just a twin bed versus a queen bed, then that's going to be $850. Okay, I am going to momentarily stop sharing my screen so that I can, how do I stop share? Sorry, okay, stop share, the button that says stop share. Okay, just so I can be present again with you all and ask if there are any, okay, good, there's stuff in the chat. Okay, thanks for letting us know, Charlotte. We hope we don't lose you and that it's safe, that you're safe. I just want to make sure. I did share a lot of information and I might talk fast, but let me know if there are any questions for this trip. If not, I did my job, but also maybe I missed something. So let me know if anybody has any immediate questions for this trip. If not, I will move to our next trip and then pause after that just for our next set of icebreakers. Thank you. No questions. Good. I am giving myself an A then, because that means I did my job. Okay, bear with me. My page is loading for the Egypt and Jordan trip. So I believe there were a couple people. Yep, I think everybody who's left wanted to hear about Egypt, Jordan, Japan, and South Africa. So luckily I don't need to do the first part of the presentation because we already have that. So this will go a little bit more quickly because we already have some of the background about Lesbifriends. So let's get into Egypt and Jordan. Okay, I'm excited about this trip. Jordan is actually probably out in my top 5 places that I've been. I had a great experience there. It was kind of like my post law school graduation trip. I went to Egypt. I went to Israel, Egypt, and Jordan. Honestly, more people have asked me about Egypt than Jordan, but I was like, we're going to Egypt. Jordan's right there. And I had a better experience personally in Jordan than in Egypt. So I kind of just tacked on Jordan, Egypt. And who doesn't want to like get a better bang for their buck and go to 2 countries instead of 1? So that's how that trip came about. But there has been a lot of interest expressed in going to Egypt, which is why I put this trip together sometime last year and released that for people. The trip is I'll say it's about halfway full. Sometimes I can be flexible with my numbers. So right now we're at 7 travelers who have signed up for this trip so far. I am capping it at 12 travelers. So there's still space for people who are interested. While South Africa was great with 20 people, it was also a lot with 20 people on a trip. We went to 2 different cities and for that trip, and this trip we're going to 3. So I figure 12, a medium trip is a good number for managing or now, all of these great unique personalities and all of the movement that we're going to be doing. My biggest concern is not waiting for 24 people to get in a van so the rest of the group can make it to our destination. So the dates are September 19th through the 27th, which is a great time to go. It's not a high traffic tourist season, so there should be less crowds there and easier to navigate the spaces that we're going into. Also, the weather is more mild at this time of year, and the prices are more affordable. So all the reasons that I factored in choosing these dates. So this is a 9-day expedition. We're going to see some pretty iconic sites. But again, there's space to do things that you might want to do on your own. There's definitely built-in free time. Like I mentioned, that person who wants to get baptized in the, I think it's called Latiska in Jordan. I did the research, and so they built that into their trip as well. So I like to talk about accommodations because I know that's important to a lot of people where we lay our head. It's important to me too. So I made sure we had comfortable accommodations. It's funny because we went to Portugal and Spain last year and we stayed in like 3-star accommodations. And for us, 3 stars is like, everybody wants to stay in 5 stars, but 5-star Europe accommodations are like 3 times as much. And Europe's just expensive. So I definitely try to make sure that the group stays in 4 stars or more, but we also have to be mindful that, there are different, we're used to different things here that they are there, but I've done my research. I looked at reviews. I've talked to people who have been and worked at these hotels, and these are all very comfortable, clean, safe hotels. So the first place we're staying is in Egypt in Cairo. And so we're going to be staying close to the pyramids of Giza. So a walkable area, even then when we're not out on excursions, when we're back at the hotel, you can feel safe leaving the hotel and exploring a little bit on your own. This is literally the picture to the right. This is what you see out of your window. So we're close to some very iconic sites too that people we'll be exploring them through tours, but if people just want to walk around and take a selfie with a pyramid in the back of them, you can from the hotel. Our second accommodation is in Petra. Petra it was one of my best experiences when I went to Jordan. Just again, you will feel it when you are there. And so it's Jordan's most famous archaeological site. This hotel is considered like as it's been described online as luxurious. I don't know if it's our standard of luxurious, but in Jordan's terms, it's luxurious. They're nice, but we have to also realize that we're going to a developing country. So just be mindful of the decor, which is befitting for what we'll see everywhere there. Then when we get to, we're just doing one night. This is kind of like a bonus, right? So we talked about the yurts and at the Summer Glamp. This is an elevated yurt. So where I had this experience the first time I went to Jordan, we slept out in the desert. When I think of desert, I think like warm, hot. I'm gonna be sweating, sun. The desert's cold at night. It's freezing. I was freezing. I did not stay in these nice, luxurious yurt pod thingamajiggies that you see pictured here. I was freezing. So I did a little research and I found a really cool space that we could stay in. So we could still get that desert, sleeping in the desert experience, but with like heat and electricity. And a really cool window so you could see out into the beautiful night sky. So we're spending one night in Wadi Rum, so we can have that experience. And then we head back to Jordan's capital before we head out, before we end our journey. So another modern hotel. The first hotel that we're staying in Jordan is more traditional. But the second hotel we're staying in is more of what might be befitting our tastes from the United States. Okay, now let's get into what we're doing, which is just as, if not more important to this trip, for me at least. So when you get to Jordan, excuse me, when you get to Egypt, so we fly in and out of different airports. I do have to tell people that because one person who booked the Japan trip, which is the same situation, they booked a round trip flight. And then we had to figure out how to get them back to their origin destination to get home on time. Anyway, we did it, but I like to mention that during trip information sessions because even though it says it on the website and even though it says it in your registration email, you might forget. So I like to say it verbally. So we fly into Cairo and then we fly out of Jordan, but all that is again included when you book. So flying into Cairo International Airport, you're greeted at the airport, whisked away to the hotel where you'll have time to get settled. It is a long trip. So I try not to overbook the first day with too many activities, because you just might have a little jet lag. But we will experience sunset at Cairo Tower as a group. And then we will also enjoy our welcome dinner to get acclimated with one another. On day 2, we have breakfast. Breakfast is included in all of the days that we're in Egypt and Jordan on this trip. Then we have a half day tour to see some iconic sites. We're going to go to the Giza pyramids and to see the Sphinx. Then there's an optional, meaning you don't have to do it, but if you want, you can. You might have others join you. There's an optional Nile Pharaoh dinner cruise, which I'm going to do because I want to friggin' have dinner on the Nile, like, right? Okay, day 3, breakfast. But also it's the first full day that you're in Egypt, right? You might be tired and you might want to rest. So no shade for those who don't add that on. You just might want to go back to the hotel and chill. All right, day 3. We're gonna after breakfast, we're gonna do a day tour to some museums and more iconic sites. I'm gonna do a lot of shopping at the bazaar. I don't know about you, but if I don't bring an empty suitcase, I'm gonna bring at least an empty duffel bag or buy one because shopping overseas in some places, but I don't think I had the opportunity to do the shopping when I was a broke law school graduate. So I'm definitely going to get my fill this time around. But those are the first 3 days. Then we are going to, on day 4, our 4th day in Egypt, after breakfast, you can do what you want to do. So if you didn't get to do the Nile dinner cruise, this is a day you could potentially do that. Or you can just do what you want to do. I have vetted some activities that might be fun. I love a cooking class. I always try to do one when I travel. So I found a cool cooking class for those who want to add that on. But you just might want to explore. You might want to do like a traditional tea tasting, eat really good food. Again, I like food tours too. Those are really fun. Okay, anyway, after day 4 at your leisure, we head out of Egypt and we go to Jordan. So we're going to fly to Petra. And then after having breakfast and transfer to our hotel. Again, on travel days, I don't like to book too much. As far as excursions go, because we probably will be in transport for at least like 4 to 6 hours, like waiting around, shuttling. But luckily, most groups are proactive, and at this point, we're halfway through the trip, and you'll just naturally have the bond with the people, and so you might just end up booking your own excursion or doing your own thing or planning your own dinner out with someone or someone's on the trip anyway. On day 6, we'll do a tour of Red Rose City. And then there will be free time to do some site visits to the Sikh, the Treasury, or the Monastery. Sorry, I'm practicing my pronunciation. I need the phonetic spellings so I can do better. But these are pretty iconic sites that some people typically like to go to when they are in Petra. On day 7, we will transfer to what? Oh, I also did a good amount of shopping in the first time I went to Jordan. Like I bought really nice scarves, a few, but they were nice by our standards. And what else? Oh, I did get a couple marriage proposals, so you might expect those from men, of course. But Jordan was a great time. The people are very friendly and welcoming and accommodating. Okay, day 7, we're going to leave our hotel and we're going to transfer to Wadi Rum. That's the yurt in the desert. We'll have breakfast and explorative Jeep ride. I know not everybody is down to ride a camel, so this is not included. It's not everybody's cup of tea, just like horseback riding. Like I planned horseback riding, ATV riding, and zip lining in Dominican Republic. Half of the people wanted to opt out, so I'm not going to waste your money. But if you want to add that on, you are welcome to. And then we'll have dinner, a dinner in the desert. We will, after spending the night under the stars, I'm sure that will be a great bonding experience for the group. And just a great experience in general. Like, who can say they've slept in the desert? We will head to Amman, where we will check into our hotel. That's the super modern one, or the most modern one out of all the hotels, based on the pictures. And then we will enjoy a a visit to Mount Nebo and the Dead Sea Beach before having our farewell dinner. And again, not too much because this is a travel day, there will be some built-in free time. So you can also explore Amman on your own. Unfortunately, all trips have to come to an end. So on day 9 after breakfast, we will have your private transport or group transport if the times line up with other travelers that we're with to a different airport, not one in Egypt. We're going to leave out of Queen Alia International Airport in Jordan and head back to our real world lives. Or for some people, continue on because why not? If you got the vacation time and the extra funds to spend, keep it going. The Bali trip ended a week ago, and one person booked a one-way flight, and they're like, "I'm gonna keep it going." I was like, "More power to you." So here's everything that's included. On the left-hand side, again, you just have to get yourself to and from Jordan, Egypt and Jordan, and all the transportation, all the flights and all the shuttles are included within the trip. So international flights are not included before and after the trip, but on the trip, you're covered. You don't need to book the flight from Egypt to Jordan. That's already included in the package. And then you most likely won't need to tip on the summer glam. I'm not tipping. But as you can imagine, some meals are on your own in Egypt and Jordan. So tipping is on your own and is optional, but appreciated and encouraged. And then anything else you choose to add, like tours or meals not mentioned, are at your own cost. Okay, the total for Egypt and Jordan, the two options are double occupancy for 2,800. That means 2 people in one room. If you don't know the person you're traveling with, or even if you do and you want 2 beds, we can get those for you. But if you know the person you're traveling with, you're rooming with, and you want to share a bed, then you would just note that during registration, and we would make sure that you have 1 bed. There's also an option for single occupancy, and honestly, this isn't a bad upgrade because I've had the single occupancy for Japan is like a whole $1,200 more than the double occupancy because accommodations ain't cheap in Japan. Luckily, they're more affordable in Africa. I do also like to mention that for those of us who like a deal, who doesn't like a deal, I love a deal. If you want to save a few $100s, you can, and you have it to book in full, or you just want to put it on a credit card. If you use the code FULL at booking and you pay in full, you'll get 10% off your entire booking. But I also do payment plans. So when you do sign up for a trip that's in the future, you're automatically enrolled in monthly billing, which is automatically debited to the card that you sign up with. You can change that. It's up to you. You can log into the payment system and change that at any time. But that's just how it's set up. If you decide a week after you book, oh, I'd really prefer my payments to come out 2 weeks later, just email me and I'll adjust the payment dates. Or, hey, I'd really prefer if I can make manual payments. Can you disable my automatic billing? I can do that too. I just need to know. It's just all about communication. I'm super flexible. I'll work with the people, especially if you sign up like 7 months in advance, then sometimes I've only made the reservation for the hotels. I haven't booked the tours yet. So I don't need all the money up front, to pay for all the things. So I'm definitely willing to work with you, however, it suits your financial needs. Okay. I'm going to stop share. Ooh, I love that you guys are chatting and using the group chat. Thank you. Sorry, my thing wasn't open for me to see it. Okay. I love that you guys are excited about this Jeep ride and the tea tasting. NDA for adventures. Okay, I'm going to put the icebreakers right there, the next set of icebreaker questions. But really quick, are there any questions? I love the comments, but are there any follow-up questions for Egypt and Jordan? Good, I'm doing my job. All right, You guys are so easy. And hopefully, so I do record this as a way to share it with the people who signed up, the people who showed up, the people who didn't show up. So this is going to be the recap, the video recording will be emailed to everybody who signed up, whether they made it or not. So I also just try to be thorough just in case people aren't on the call. But really it's a trip overview. I'm also happy to have like one-on-one conversations if people like really want to get in the specifics. I even do one-on-one Zoom or Google Meets with people who want to do flight searches. I'm happy to jump on a 30-minute call and like we can look for flights from your preferred airport, just because I know I had people last year, it was their first time traveling out of the country at like 50 years old. And, they were just really nervous about booking their flights. They didn't want to make the mistake. So I'm happy to, have that conversation to make people put people at ease. Okay, but without further ado, let's get into this next icebreaker. The next three questions are, what's a destination you've always wanted to visit but haven't yet, and why? You're planning your dream trip. Do you go solo with one bestie or a full group of 10 plus? Wait, is that 10? Yeah. And then what's something you secretly don't love about travel, but still do it anyway? For example, airports, packing, small talk, early mornings. Would anybody like to go first? I can go first. Nobody volunteers. Okay, I'll go first. All right. I guess I've always wanted to go to. I'm gonna cheat and give two. I want to go to Australia and Antarctica because those are the only two. Those are the only two continents I have yet to go to. I haven't been to Antarctica because it's expensive. I've looked into trips. It's gonna cost like 15 G's. And I don't even know that there's anything to do there. And then Australia, I think it's far. It's far. It's gonna also I'm saving up my American Express points because I want to fly to Australia with my points in business class or first class. So I'm hoarding all of my points so I can have that experience. I think next year or the year after. Okay. But that's why. And also I would want to, if I'm going that far, like I need to spend like 3 weeks. And I don't know that my job is going to give me 3 weeks off in addition to all the other times off that I have planned. Anyway, I'm planning my dream trip. I've done solo trips and I enjoy being a solo traveler. But I'm also an introvert. So I think that it's a little bit harder as a solo traveler. So I'm gonna do my dream trip with a small group of people. My best friend gets on my nerves, or my best friends get on my nerves. I love them, but I don't want to just do it with them. So it's gonna be like maybe a smaller group, maybe 5. Maybe the best friend would be invited. And one thing I don't love about travel, what I love so much about travel, the getting to the airport. I feel like I don't want to ask someone to drop me off because I can afford an Uber or a Lyft, right? But I do want I want to hug someone when I leave, and you can't hug the Uber driver, right? So I think like the actual getting to the airport or maybe even getting picked up from the airport part, I don't love that because my family isn't in a position to like pick me up or drop me off. And I'm not going to be that creep and ask the Uber driver for a hug. So that part. All right. Who's next?
Cash had his hand raised.
Go. You're welcome to go, Cash, if you want. Can you unmute yourself?
All right, yeah, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, my bad. I'm in a bad reception area, so that's why I was gonna wait. But if y'all can hear me, I'll go. First question. was a place that I want to visit. Africa. Um, South Africa is, particularly. And my main reason I've always wanted to go to Africa since a child is because I'm a Leo and I need to see a lion like up close and personal. So that's kind of been my thing. Second one, hello,
We can hear you.
hello. Oh, okay. I'll be making sure. So second one, if I was planning my dream trip, I'm kind of torn on that one. Because part of me would like to go by myself so that I would make sure to kind of do everything I want to do. The selfish part of me wants to go by myself. Um, but then at the same, I do want to experience it with others. So, like, I've traveled. I do most of my own. I've also been with partners in the past, and within the last couple of years, I've been doing different group trips also. So I don't really know. I can't really choose one of those. And then lastly, something that I secretly hate about travel. Um, yeah, I think that airport thing, like, and that's mostly my fault because as much as I travel, I still have not gotten like pre-check through TSA and all that. And honestly, because I've been places where the pre-check line was longer than the regular line, so I just haven't done it. But between getting into the flight and honestly walking to the flight at some airports, yeah, that's aggravating. But I mean, I do it anyway, and I'm up early, and I'm always there 2 hours ahead. So my flight.
You're a planner. I love that. Also, I love that you want to walk with lions in South Africa. Last year, the group that the for the trip that we did, I had a safari on the trip, and we have a safari on that South Africa trip this upcoming year. Well, this trip. But I had a friend, she found something on Instagram and she found like an experience where you can walk next to the lions, and her and I think like six other people woke up at 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. one day. Like they researched it themselves, they booked it themselves, just so they could walk next to a lion. It was so cool on the videos. Like, but I mean, that was such a cool experience for them. I don't know that I'm trying to reach out and touch a lion. I was finding a little Jeep safari thing. But I want that for you, Cash. Whether you do it with Lesbifriends travel or not, I want that for you.
Nah, I want it for me too. Yeah, I definitely would love that. Like when I was younger, I wanted like a lion cub as a pet. So yeah, I would definitely be game for that. I'm actually planning a trip now to go to Thailand, and the highlight of it, they not lions, but tigers, still big cats. Definitely gonna go to the sanctuary and sit and take pictures and all that. So yeah, I would love that for me too. Let's make that happen.
Love that. And have a great time in Thailand. If you need any tips, email me. We went last year, so I'm happy to share like what we did with you, that we liked
Oh,
and that we didn't like, so you can avoid that.
definitely, I appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem. And then there were two.
I'll go. Destination. I don't know. I've got a couple. Kind of local, I guess. Bermuda, Aruba, and then I just read in Essence Online. Um, there's a trip to Paris, but the trip is just focused on Black Paris, which really piqued my interest. I've been to Paris. It's been years ago, but never took a tour of Black Paris. So I really like the sound of that. Um, I think I'd like to go with a bestie or a good friend. I've gone solo and I just got tired of talking to myself, like asking a question and then answering it. It's just, I don't know. It'd be nice to just have someone to have a nice conversation and share different experiences and situations and adventures with. Something you secretly don't love about travel: packing. I don't like packing. If I could just not pack and just buy everything, um, when I arrive, I'd be good to go. So thank you.
That's a great list. If you do Black Paris, let me know. I was looking into like a queer Paris trip.
Mm,
Um,
yeah, that
but
sounds good.
I like the idea of Black Paris or a combination of the two. So that's really
Yeah,
cool. Um, yeah, but great answers. Thank you, Charlotte.
you're welcome.
Queer Black pairs would be dope, y'all. Okay, so for mine, I'm loving the combo tonight too, ladies. What's a destination I've always wanted to go to? Y'all have mentioned it as well. I want to go to Southeast Asia, particularly Thailand. I want to do Cambodia. I really have always wanted to go to Angkor Wat. That's on my list for sure. And I wouldn't mind doing like Iceland or one of the Nordic countries. And my dream trip, do I want to go solo with bestie or a full group? I am an introverted extrovert. So I like a nice intimate group, like a 5 to 10 type of deal. You know, you can go, oh, what y'all doing over here? Okay, we talking over here. What y'all doing over there? Oh, they lounging over there. What y'all doing over there? You about to go jump off a cliff? Okay. And then I can just do, whatever is the vibe for me because I got my people, all types of people. And what's something I don't like, but I still do it anyway? I do not like to pack. I don't. Of course, I will. I like having options, and that can get a little cumbersome sometimes. And I definitely don't like the mornings. Of course, I'm gonna make it happen. I'm not about to miss the dope activities. But if we could do it, after 10 a.m., that's her preference. Is anything after 10 a.m. But that's what it would be for me.
Thank you. All great answers. I want to go to Iceland. I don't know if I have enough lesbian friends that are going want to go to Iceland, but I'm thinking about making a trip when people normally go to Iceland for like the Northern Lights. So I might put together something real quick for beginning of next year. So be on the
Put it
lookout.
together, Lisa. Put it together. Let's be friends in Iceland.
I mean, I feel like there's so many black people who, I mean, I don't like to be cold, but they be doing the thing like jumping in the water, and I'm just like, we need to do that. I'm gonna put it together. I am. I'm planning next year right now. I'm trying to release trips on a rolling basis, but if I do Iceland in January, it'll probably be released by like August. So all right. Anyway, that I'm gonna add that to my list when we get off here. Thank you guys. This is a great group. Y'all making the night easier. Also, I apologize. I'm not a timely person. I'm a little long-winded. Also, I work from home by myself, so I don't get to talk to people. So you guys are my guinea pigs. Thanks. Um, but we're gonna go. I say all that to say we're gonna go over maybe 10 minutes tonight, but I'll try to be concise for Japan. And without further ado, here is our Japan trip. Okay. So I feel like I'll just say that honestly, Japan is probably the most popular. Like everybody tells me that they want to go to Japan, and I believe it when people sign up. Like, okay, you want to go to Japan, great, great, great. But 9 people have signed up, and to be honest, I was gonna cap this trip at 9 people because at 9 people, that means that's the smallest transportation that I could get. When I move up, then I have like, what is it? I have up to 17 people. So then I have to commit to like getting 17 people in order to make it make sense, right? For numbers. But 9 people signed up for Japan without including me. So now I have to go up. This just happened in the last week. Like two people booked like in the same week. So I'm like, darn it. So anyway, there's still room on this trip because it's good and it's bad. There's 9 people signed up plus me, that would be 10. So I think this trip could go up to 17, but I'm not going more than 17. I'll probably my booking deadline is like mid-August. So just as a heads up. So I picked this time of year in Japan after there were cheaper times to go. Trust and believe me. This is a break-even trip for me. In full transparency, I am not making any money. I'm paying to go on this trip, but it's gonna be well worth it. But so it's perfect weather, perfect like mix of a little bit of tourists, but not too many. And enough is going on, like enough activity is going on. So that's why I picked this. If we traveled like at a colder time or like a less desirable time, it would have been cheaper, unfortunately. But I'm glad that we're going in October because it's mild weather, still like warm, so we don't have to like pack layers, and a lot of offerings, like cultural offerings that are going on. So, and I did want to make sure that because it's Japan, right? Like I did want to make sure, and we're traveling far. I want to make sure people like got the best experience out of this trip. So we're going to 3 places, just like Egypt and Jordan. Brace yourself. But I think they are the best options for this time of year to go to Japan to experience it. And you'll love it, and you'll go back and all that jazz. But you'll get a good taste of everything, so you know where you want to go and stay more time. So the first place we're going is Tokyo. And so, you know, Japan is super modern, super advanced. This is the last place I did went to on semester at sea. I'm a broke 20-year-old. I already have no money. And then you're gonna drop me in Japan where everything's like American prices. But I still had a great time. I went to like this is 20 years ago. I went to internet cafes. I talked to my family. I did really cool tours. It was a very eye-opening experience as an American going to Japan, especially like in Osaka, and Hiroshima. So anyway, first place we're staying is in Tokyo. We are going to be like downtown in the middle of the mix, so we can just easily walk out into the bustling city, and have our choice of places to eat, places to shop, places to frequent, like, you know, just to get an experience. We are staying in a great hotel. As you can see, it's very tall. We're gonna have great views, and nice amenities. Then next we are heading to Kyoto. And so this is Japan's ancient capital. So it's a little bit more traditional, but still modern, and advanced. So this is like more of a peaceful experience, if you will. So in Kyoto, we'll experience gardens. It's more of a minimalist experience. But with authentic touches. So we'll get to eat on the ground or on the floor, and these elevated tables, and but we will still be in the heart of things for Kyoto, and we'll get to be right near some pretty amazing landmarks. Then we go to Osaka, which is the only place I've been to in Japan. It was interesting going to uh, Osaka, and going to a museum where they memorialized like the victims of Hiroshima, and seeing that from an American's perspective, or from a Japanese person's perspective as an American. Like that, as a 20-year-old, like I didn't even know what to do with myself. Like I was bawling my eyes out, like walking through this museum. Like this place hit me hard. Also had a similar experience in Vietnam, but just Osaka is great. It's a great coastal city for food, for culture, for entertainment. So a great place to end our experience in Japan. And what will we be doing when we get there, you ask? Well, first you're gonna arrive at the airport and you're gonna get picked up and you're gonna feel like a rock star. I always say I want to do this for myself when I travel, but I don't. I just do it on group trips, like someone waiting with a board to pick me up rather than going to look for my Uber. But yes, that's the experience you'll have. You'll have a driver waiting for you to whisk you away to our hotel, where you'll get checked in, get settled. This so far is the longest journey so far that we have talked about that you will have been on for a Lesbifriends trip. So again, I didn't over plan the first day because traveling is a lot. It's more of we will organically meet as a group. Well, it'll be planned, but we will not have like anything scheduled on the itinerary the first day. Naturally, people will get together and eat a meal, but because especially flying into, even though I give a suggested time of arrival, I already looked at flights and people have already booked their flights. They're getting in at all different times as well. So I didn't want people to miss out. So the first day is getting settled, easing into Asia. Next day, after a delicious breakfast, we're going to experience a very cool and unique museum. We're going to Team Lab Borderless. Then we're going to explore the Mori Art Museum. We're going to do a tour. And then we're going to do a private river cruise. This is a full day. Again, I didn't plan anything the first day, official day we arrived, but the second day we're going to be up and moving. Not always on foot, like we're going to be driving a lot of places, so you can rest when you're being driven. But if you want to keep it going, there's a night activity, which is that I've suggested as an add-on, which is a traditional drum lesson that you can do. On day 3, we're gonna do. I try to pick things like off the beaten path. So I chose a flower arranging class because that is part of Japanese culture. And so we'll have that experience. I mean, hopefully we all get treated with flowers, whether you like them or not. Hopefully someone buys you flowers, and it's nice to know how to arrange them. So we're getting taught a life skill, guys. Okay, then after that, we are going to do a visit to the Imperial Palace East Gardens, and we are going to visit a fish market where hopefully they have some cooked fish so we can taste it. I mean, sushi's fine, but essentially we're going to get to experience the day-to-day culture of the people who live in Japan. But I'm also hoping to get to sample some delicacies as well. Day 4, after breakfast, we're gonna get to take a bullet train. I love train travel and I want to do it more. And I'm thinking when I do this Vietnam trip next year, there's gonna be some train travel in it, maybe like even like overnight or a couple overnights. But I've never taken a bullet train, so I'm excited about taking like a fast moving train, and of course in Japan because they are so advanced. And when we get to Kyoto, we'll get, of course, settled into our new accommodations. Before we do a guided food tour at a local market, we'll get to do a traditional tea ceremony, and we'll get to visit a samurai and ninja museum where we'll get to try on some of the traditional garb. So photo op. On day 5, we will, after breakfast, which is included, we'll do a full day tour of Kyoto and go to some iconic landmarks. We'll visit these torii gates, which you see below, and then we'll have a geisha show, or we'll get to go to a geisha show. I really need to remove this because I really don't know how anybody's going to fit this in, but this is the day that I said we could do an optional half-day biking tour. I really don't think it's going to fit, but I keep forgetting after every information session to remove this because I have so much fun on these information sessions and I just forget to circle back. On day 6, so we have a short stay over in Kyoto, even though it's great. But on day 6, we get to go to Osaka, which again is where I've been and had a great experience in Japan. So after we get there and get settled in, we are going to do a hands-on cooking class. Again, I said I love cooking classes, so I selfishly plan these trips for myself. You guys just get to go with me. I'm just kidding. I really plan it for the groups, guys, and people's feedback is they love a cooking class. Everybody, every trip. I don't know how you can hate a cooking class. Even if you can't eat the food you're cooking, it's a good thing to experience. Then we're gonna get to explore the Downtonbury, and as an optional add-on, if you want to keep going, you can do a botanical garden excursion. Day 7, you finally get a whole day to do whatever you choose. Sorry guys, I know I have you ripping and running, but we have to fit it in while we can, while we're here. Japan is not the cheapest place. I wanted to make sure our accommodations were nice, and so I want you to guys get the best bang for your buck, which is why I have included all of these activities built in. But on day 7, you can wake up when you want to. I try not to have us up at 7, promise, but I do want everybody to make it to breakfast, and that's usually over by like 9:30, 10. So most days we will be having a somewhat earlier start. Day 7, it's yours. Do what you want to do. I will probably go shopping or do that optional bike tour that I keep meaning to move to day 7. Day 8, unfortunately, we have to say our farewells, or again, keep going. I might go to Singapore after Japan, or somewhere. I don't know. I'm already in Asia, so why not keep it going? And then everybody will get their private transfers to the hotel, excuse me, to the airport. Again, a different airport than we're flying into. We're leaving out of 2 different airports, and then we'll say our farewells. Just as a heads up, the flight to Japan is pretty affordable. The flight from Japan is a little bit more pricey. I've done a few flight search sessions with people, and that's what we've been finding. I haven't booked my flight yet, in full transparency, but that's what's been coming up. So everything I've already said is included, but I'll pause here just so the video picks it up if you want to revisit this. And then everything on the right-hand side is not included. So get yourself to and from Japan. I got you while we're there. Travel insurance, get it. You don't know what's going to happen. There aren't any vaccines that are necessary. There just might be some that are recommended that you might want to get, but Japan's pretty easy. It's like different from going to Africa where they recommend everything. And then, all the extras. So this trip is a little bit more pricey than Egypt and Jordan, but still pretty affordable. So if you want to come on this trip, $3,200 would be the price that you pay for a double occupancy. $4,300 is what you pay for a single. Surprisingly, there are 6 people who are doing single occupancies. I'm not mad at them. I might opt for a roommate though. I might use that extra money to buy souvenirs. And then of course, if you want to save a few bucks up front, you can opt to pay in full with that 10% off discount. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing just momentarily to refresh my screen and get on the South Africa trip, but oh yay, I love you guys, or that you guys are talking so much in the whatchamacallit, in the group chat. All right, I'm going to quickly present South Africa, and then we'll do our wrap up, our last set of icebreakers. Thank you for bearing with me with the time. Completely understand if you need to hop off, but thank you for staying on a little bit extra. All right. Ooh, Disney in Tokyo. I can see if that's a possibility. But also, Cash, if you did come to Japan on this trip, I would probably suggest and we could talk about this offline, but if you did, I would suggest coming in like a day or 2 earlier. If you want, I can add on like an extra day onto your hotel. And we could work that out offline. But so I don't think you want to have a half day in Disney. I think you need the full day in Disney. I went to Universal Studios when I went to, where was it? I think it was, yeah, I went to Universal Studios when I went to Japan, and that was a good experience. I don't, is Universal Studios the same as Disney? I have no idea. But I had a great time as an adult at Universal Studios. It was a lot of fun. And I think it was a weekday, so like a lot of kids weren't there, so it was perfect. But if you do, you guys have any questions about Japan? I feel like I closed the group chat too quickly. Unmute yourself if so. If not, I'm doing my job. It's fine. Okay. Doing my job. Okay. Let's go. Let's talk about South Africa, which is it's our end of the year trip. I've never done a New Year's trip. I was kind of excited I like to travel on New Year's. Like I want to bring in the New Year somewhere else. I'm not always in the position to do so, but I thought, why not plan a Lesbifriends trip that's like a New Year's adventure? And because South Africa was such a hit last year, I thought, let's move it up, essentially, move it up, move it back, so that people could potentially experience this over New Year's. But it's a little bit different than the experience that was planned previously. Last year we went to Johannesburg and we went to Cape Town. Cape Town is great. It's easy to navigate by yourself though. So this year I chose to do a different part of South Africa that I feel like is less known. It's more like a beach, like a beach safari, luxury safari setting, and a culturally immersive one. So like we're going to villages and we're like hanging out with the people and learning from them and going into their homes, as opposed to, going to the big city and seeing Robin's Island, and hanging out with the penguins, which are all great, but again, easily navigable by yourself. I wanted to do something that, a, a group who might want to go to South Africa might not see at first glance. Okay, so we are going to Johannesburg, Mungazi, Mungazi. I need to practice, guys. Hulu and Hulu, South Africa. Again, I need to get the phonetic spellings. I just got to do better. All right, so we're gonna, again, this is a mixture of cultural immersion, safari, because everybody wants to go on a safari and be up close with the animals, city, and beach. So first, when we get to Joburg, we're staying in these cool accommodations, not too far from the airport, so an easy transport. I think where we stayed before, it took us like an hour to get to. So this is nice. You get out the airport, you get to get checked in. You don't have to go through all the rigmarole. And so this is like a very nice, unique space. We have the outdoor space that's lush, and we'll definitely want to swim in that pool. Like I want to swim in that pool right now, especially because it was like 100 degrees in DC today. But also your room is going to be like your private retreat, and like who doesn't want a wall of windows to just like open up their curtains and just like see a lush garden. And very navigable, so easy to walk to different things close by. Our second accommodation, this is our safari space. So we're staying at an elevated eco lodge. I know it's lodge in the title, but believe me, this is a luxury lodge. And we are staying on site. So the good thing about this luxury lodge is it's all inclusive. So this isn't an all inclusive trip. Everything that we do in Johannesburg is kind of like the activities are inclusive, but that are on the itinerary, but there's meals that you have to do by yourself. When we get to our second and our third accommodation, all of the meals are included and all of the activities are included. So it's kind of like choose your own adventure. There's some things that we're going to do as a group, but you can just do things on your own because it's a resort type of space. So you can go snorkeling in ancient fish traps. You can go, I include more of it in the itinerary, but also it's really good vegan food, but also they have protein options, animal protein options for people who need that, like me. But really delicious food options as well. I've vetted this place thoroughly. Then this is our beachy area, accommodations 3. So this is it's still a lodge, right? But like a cool lodge. But it's more the culturally immersive kind. So we're going to be able to like meet with the locals, go into their village, like see some of their local cooking, do crafts with them, but also go on safari. Okay, so this is an 8-day journey. Again, we're going to be bringing in New Year's in South Africa. How cool is that in the continent? When you arrive, you're going to get picked up from the airport in Johannesburg, and we're going to transport ourselves to the first accommodations that we pictured. Then after we get settled, this is like probably like a 20-hour travel day as opposed to Asia, which is going to Asia, which is probably going to be like I'll say a day and a half. So less time to get to South Africa. So you won't be as tired. So we're gonna have dinner together as a group. Then day 2, we're gonna have breakfast, and then we're gonna visit the Apartheid Museum. This was very impactful last year, so I wanted to keep it on the agenda. There are some things that weren't as much of a hit, so I took them off so we don't have to experience them this time around. And then we'll have a leisurely evening in the city. Day 3, we're just in Johannesburg a couple days. Sorry, not sorry. You'll appreciate it when we get to the places that we're going, though. So we're actually going to take a flight to Mungazi. I have to practice that. And then transfer to their lodge and get settled in. And like I said, all the meals are included there and the activities. So if you're feeling like enjoying an activity once we get there and get settled in, you can still have a day of excursions there. So these are some of the things that are included in what you can do there. We can do guided hikes, snorkeling, a fish trap exploration, or even a beach day. These are things that are optional that you can do on your own. So on day 4, but also on day 3, when you get there, these are things you can do. The next 2 things are things that are planned that we're going to do as a group. So we're going to do a visit to social enterprises and change makers. When possible, I try to make sure we actually get to know the local people who live in the places that we're going and learn from them. Sometimes there are opportunities to do service projects as well. So we get to experience some things at this next accommodation. We're also going to do a life immersion experience. So we get to have a local meal and storytelling and village visits with the people who actually live in the community. Day 5, you get to have a free day. You could spend the whole day at the beach if you want. You can get a massage if you want. Massages are much cheaper in other countries. So you can do that. But make the day your own and also just enjoy the nice resort that we're on. Feel like day 4 is going to be New Year's. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Day 3 is the 31st. So day 4 will be New Year's Day. So day 5 will be the day after New Year's. So you might be recovering for people who like to turn up on New Year's. Day 6, we're going to transfer to our last beautiful accommodations, where we'll get settled in. We'll do a game drive. I think I mixed it up when I was talking earlier, so my apologies. The 3rd site is where we're going to do the safari and get to hang out with the beautiful animals and see the big 5, the elephants, the zebras, the giraffes. And then we're going to have an evening sundowner. That's kind of just like being in a beautiful space, having dinner and taking in like the lay of the land. They call it sundowners. I don't know if it's a Africa thing. It might be just everywhere else, but the United States. But it's definitely something that they do in other countries. Evening sundowners. Day 7, our big adventure day. Day 6 is more of a chill adventure day, but day 7, we're doing 2 safaris, but day 7, we're gonna hunt for the big 5, not like literally hunt them, but we're gonna look for them. So on a guided tour in a Jeep, in a safe Jeep on wheels, We're not walking with the animals unless you want to do that somewhere else by yourself. Not by yourself, but maybe with others. But that's not the setup. But we'll get pretty close to the animals. I remember like last year, like looking down at the lions that were sleeping. Like I really didn't want them to look up at me to know that I was there, but it was nice to like be able to like I could reach out and touch you if I wanted to lose an arm. So after we find the big five and all the other animals on this safari, then we'll do a guided tour of a Zulu village. I don't know if anybody's done their ancestry DNA, but it might be time to do it before the trip. You might meet some of your ancestors, not ancestors, but you know, the people that you originate from, they might be part of the same tribe. Then we're going to do basket weaving. There's also optional cooking activities, so we can do a cooking class. And we'll meet with a spiritual healer. All before we have a farewell dinner, because things must come to an end. On day 8, we are going to have breakfast, head to the airport, and say our farewells. So, South Africa, all this on the left is included, all this on the right is not included. You guys know the deal because I've said it a few times. So this is considered a luxury trip based on the accommodations and the fact that like everything's included except in Johannesburg. In Johannesburg, you have to like get like 2 of your meals. But the price for a double occupancy would be 3,300. Again, that's 2 people in the room with 2 or 1 bed, depending on what the situation is. For a single occupancy, you would pay 4,200. There's always that option to pay in full, save a few $100s, or in this case, up to $400. If you choose to use that discount code FULL. And then just as a thank you, I can share, and I will email this as in the recap email tomorrow, that if you do decide to book a trip, just as a thank you for spending part of your evening with me, you can use the discount code info session to save $100 on your trip. Unfortunately, I can't combine the discounts. So you got to pick one. You want to do the full, which is the better value. You choose that one, but if you want to be on the payment plan, you still can get $100 off for that trip. And then, yeah, thank you again for sharing part of the evening. But don't leave yet because we have to do the last 3 questions, which, you know, I have like, this set of questions is our closing. You know, we've connected. I've learned a little bit about you. You've learned a little bit about me. But now we have, so we have the connections. We have the intros. We have the connections. Now we're gonna have the vision and the vibes. So we need to know, or I need to know, what do you hope to gain from traveling with a group like this beyond just the destination? What kind of energy do you want around you on your next trip? And there's some examples, but feel free to come up with your own. And if you could design one activity for a Lesbifriends trip, what would it be? Really, again, y'all are just my market research. No, I'm just kidding. But I do like to, I listen to the people. So this is very helpful. So I'm not gonna do this because I know my answers. I need to hear from you guys, your answers. Don't be shy.
I'll go.
Thanks, Cash.
No problem. What do I hope to join to gain from traveling? So with a group like this, I've done several other group trips. Unfortunately, they are not usually queer individuals. And so that was one of the reasons that I was very much, attracted to Let's Be Friends, is to hopefully meet other people, other queer individuals who like to travel and who have fun doing it. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to get from this group. What kind of energy do you want? Sure. Um, I guess for me, that kind of depends on where we're going. So there's some, I heard you mentioning about like the different, I guess, cabins or whatever, like in the Poconos and stuff. And it's like depending on the day, I kind of flip up. So for me, it kind of depends. There's sometimes when I'm on some real hard party, turn up things. It's other times when I'm on some real zen and let's sit and meditate by a brook somewhere, so for me it kind of it depends on um where the destination is, I think. And if I could design one activity, oh, you already know it. It's gonna be the walking with lions. Now, now, if I could do one activity, um, I actually like that you put in the one for South Africa, the spiritual healer. I very much like that. I belong to a holistic community. And so we do Reiki and breath work and all this stuff on a weekly basis. And I think that a lot of people kind of stray away from that, especially in group trips, so as not to offend, anyone's either spiritual or religious feelings. But yeah, if I was gonna do that, I'd definitely throw something holistic in there.
Yeah, that was great. I learned something new about you. Lions and healing, lions and Reiki.
I'll go next. I love the things you had to say, Cash. And Lisa, I thank you so much for putting this together because this is what I've been looking for to answer the first question. What do I hope to gain from traveling with a group like this? Black gay girls. Black gay girls. The last time I got to be around, I'm always having to either be around the queers, they might be white, they might be gay, and that's fine. And I'll get to be around my people, black people. They might be homophobic. They might think I do too much because I'm woo woo, just a little bit different. She might be listening to rock depending on when you take the earbuds out. And to be in a space where I can be all parts of me, the intersectionality of it all. And the last time I got to be black and gay was at my HBCU, and that was a while ago, quite a bit ago. So that's what I'm looking for. And again, I just appreciate y'all for letting me share in this space tonight. What kind of energy do I want around me? I'm here for all of it. Again, I love seeing the expansiveness of us. Black gay girls, I love knowing the multifacetedness of us. I always have to know about others. I want to know what we doing. Okay. And if I could design one activity for Lesbifriends, it would be, you know what? I've always wanted to scuba dive a slave ship. That's something that's always, yeah, yeah. Okay. Now she does not know how to swim, but that's okay. I would absolutely love to have that type of experience. Once upon a time, we were prized and great swimmers. That's such a terrible myth and stereotype about us. They used to want to, anyway, excuse me, she's a sociologist. I would design us doing scuba diving a slave ship. And if it's like, well, Chevalier, that's too much. Well, let's do some ATVs, honey. I love going off road. Let's go off road. Thank you again, y'all.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for contributing. Everybody has such great answers. So, the universing. So there's a woman who just came on the Bali trip that just ended on the 20th. And um she signed up for the Japan trip before the Bali trip even ended. Feel very fortunate that she had such a good experience. That she wanted to keep it going. But while on the Bali trip, she wrote me an email. And full disclosure, I didn't go on the Bali trip. I had a trip leader go for the first time. A trip I put together, I didn't go. It's like my heart was palpitating the whole time, but I knew that that person was well equipped to lead the trip because I had two overlapping trips. Anyway, the woman that I mentioned, she emailed me and another person. And she said, I had a dream that you guys met and connected and came up with a travel experience that taught Black women how to swim and experience water. Anyway, she literally just connected me in this last week to this woman who does swimming experiences. She teaches BIPOC people how to swim. And she told me, the swim instructor, she just booked her space for her first retreat in Mexico. So we're gonna talk next week or the week after I get back from this Cabo trip. And we're going to come up with an experience that we can offer, because you're not alone. Like, there are so many Black and brown people who cannot swim, and because they took that from us. So I would love to, talk about maybe on that experience, incorporating a scuba diving experience into that. There's so many things I want to do. I don't know about if anyone likes to take psychedelics, but people have asked me, can I put together an ayahuasca experience? I'm looking into that. All the things. So anyway, to come. But first, we have to hear from Charlotte. Charlotte, last but not least, love to know your answers.
Okay. What I hope to gain is just sharing in spaces where there's Black lesbians that love to travel, and we have commonalities. That's something I need in my life right now. So that would be really fulfilling. Energy, affirming, joyful, positive. Someone said to me today, harmony and peace, and that just really spoke with me. So that just being positive and optimistic, those are the energies that I love in my life. Design, the Jeep drive in the desert, that sounds awesome. Four-wheeling, I would enjoy that. Dancing, and just, I don't know, a comedy show. I love laughter, so that would be fun. Yeah, that's all I can think of right now, Lisa, but thank you very much. This has been a blast. This has been a lot of fun. I've learned a lot.
Thank you. Thank you guys. No, this is great. It's a small, intimate-ish group. I love these. Even if it was just like one other person here, those, like, we have the best time. But no, this has been great. Thank you guys for sharing 2 whole hours of your time with me. I'm sorry I go over. I'm the worst, but I definitely learned a lot. I have so many ideas for what's next year. Of course, I hope I can see you all this year in person, but if anything, hope there's 2026 and years to come. So I look forward to, seeing you guys in the future, traveling together. Just if you have an idea, share it. Like, I love doing research and trying to make things work. Even I had there are two people who came on a trip last year who said you should do a trip to Cabo. They're not coming to Cabo, but I did a trip to Cabo. So I listen to the peoples. So yeah. All right. I hope everybody's had dinner, and might be winding down for the night. And we could just relax and turn down. I will send you a follow-up email tomorrow just with some things that we hit on and that coupon code if you guys do decide to book in the future. But thanks again for sharing your night with me. Oh, Cancun, I love that. Riviera Maya. Okay, I love Mexico. All right, I'll be in the contact. Okay. All right, Cash. All right, everyone. Thank you again.
Bye-bye. Nice meeting you all. Have a great weekend.
All
You
right. Nice
too.
meeting y'all. Y'all
Yes,
have a
bye,
great night.
y'all.
Bye bye.
Night.